to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Today we have Martha Hernandez for the California Relay Service and Elizabeth Alvarado for California Telephone Access Program. Hopefully I got that right. And they're going to talk to us about their Keeping Everyone Connected program. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Martha Hernandez. I am with the California Relay Services, and we provide the caption telephones for individuals that have a hearing loss. So I know for respectful time, we're going to go ahead and get started. So a little bit of California Relay Services is for individuals that have a hearing loss. So anyone that may have a hearing loss, it could be from minor to severe, or anyone that has speech difficulties. Let's say you know someone that had a stroke and they can't speak anymore. We do have the speech-to-speech program, relay, for anyone that is having those types of difficulties, as well as anyone that probably has ASL or ALS, sorry. I always get those confused. But so yes, we have different types of programs for anyone that has these types of difficulties. It's all paid by the California Public Utilities Commission, so that would make it free for anyone that has any of these types of difficulties. It could be from hard of hearing, deaf, blind, or speech difficulties. We partner up we're actually also known as Hamilton Relay. So every time you hear the word Hamilton Relay in California Relay, Hamilton Relay is the one that has a contract for the state of California. Next slide, please. So a little bit of California Relay. It all started back in 1990. So before that, anyone that had any of these difficulties, it was hard for them to keep communicating with other individuals. The ADA passed in 1990, and then some of the call centers were actually open, but it was only very limited. Then 1993, all the FDA did mandate all these centers to stay open 24 hours, 7 days a week, which included the holidays. Next. So how does this work? So the relay user that use a TTY, so those of you that don't know what a TTY looks like, the slide does have this specialized equipment which will help carry their message. We do have the communication assistants that will also help relay the message, will become like their voice or a vessel to carry the message back and forth. So it's more like time taking. We do work very closely with communication assistants. They are actually, like I mentioned, they're more like the one that carries the messages back and forth, and they never engage in any of these communications or calls, and they keep every information confidential. If the CA can hear the dog barking or a siren passing in the background, they also let the user know what's going on in the background. So a little bit of TTY. These are specialized equipment. We work very closely with our equipment distribution program, and I know Elizabeth is here, so that's how we partner up, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But we use the 711. 711's more like a 411 for anyone who needs the relay. We have the voice carryovers for individuals that have a hearing loss. and they can't use their voice, or they prefer not to use their voice. They do need a specialized equipment to use this type of service. We have the hearing carryover for individuals vice versa from the voice carryover. So this is for individuals that can hear but can't use their voice. Let's say if someone has a severe stuttering issue going on and they prefer not to use their voice, they can use this service with the specialized equipment. The speech-to-speech is the one that we work really closely with. People that have, let's say they have Parkinson's. Some of the individuals that have these types of things going on, it's hard for them to communicate or use their voice. So they actually don't need any specialized equipment. Like I mentioned, they use the 711 to communicate with their loved ones or a doctor. So, yeah. The visualized assisted is for individuals that, this one, they don't need anything else other than their laptop. This is more like a one-way communication. The CA will be able to see the individual use their mouth movements or using cue cards like yes or no. So this is the visualized assisted speech-to-speech program that we also have. And we work closely with the deaf-blind services, so anyone that or already knows how to read Braille, we have the relay for that type of equipment. And all of the services I just spoke about, we also offer it in Spanish. So those are the only two languages that we do have right now, English and Spanish, which is really beneficial. Like, let's say the individual only speaks Spanish and they're calling a doctor that doesn't speak Spanish. This is the only time that there would be translation between both parties. Customer profile is for individuals that need any of these services. And a lot of people say, oh my gosh, it takes long to use the relay. But if you create your own profile, which means like if you prefer a male to use your voice or a female, you can do that, and it'll actually speed up the process. So caption telephone is for the individuals that have a hearing loss, and I know that our chair, Lambert, did say that he visited our website, and these phones are actually amazing. And the way these phones work, the person will hear what they can, and they read everything else on the screen. So it's like when you turn on your captions on your TV, it has the captions, same thing with the phones. So they're pretty cool. I really like them. Some of the special features that it does have, they do have the large display. If you're sensitive to the brightness of the screen, you could change the colors. It does have a built-in answering machine. And one of the cool features that I really like, it has a save and review captions. So let's say you hang up the phone, you think, what did the doctor just say? Well, you could always go back and review your captions. So as you could see, we work very closely with CTAP. So CTAP and California Relay, or Hamilton Relay, work really, really well together. We actually refer to each other. We're like cousins, if you will. And then we also, you could also, You could also apply for both agencies. That's the really cool thing about it. And I know that was pretty quick, but I wanted to leave some time for my friend here, Elizabeth, with more information. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Alvarado with California Phones. Thank you for allowing me to come in and piggyback on Martha's wonderful presentation. So I'm not really going to go over a lot of my presentation, one for time, and also because, like Martha shared, we really do work well together. And some of the same qualifications for Hamilton Relay are the same ones that CTAP requires for our program. And again, so our program is free. We are for any California resident that has some kind of difficulty using the phone, whether it's with their vision, their hearing, their speech, their memory, or their mobility. And they have some kind of telephone service, whether it's a mobile phone, cell phone only, or they still have the landline. One of the key differences between Hamilton Relay and CTAP is that we still have a more extensive phone. We have different types of phones. We have cordless phones. We have if our customers need captioning, we relay them to Hamilton Relay and Relay. But we also have now phones that will connect to Bluetooth. So if some of our customers said, I'm cord cutting, I don't need phone service anymore, I have my cell phone, we actually have phones that are amplified, have big numbers for them to either see or feel, have answer machines, but will work with their cell phone number. We do in-house calls that if someone calls us and says, I need help installing this, or I have questions. With the pandemic, those have been limited, but we are now slowly, thankfully, getting back into seeing people face-to-face with all the precautions necessary. But we are still serving our constituents and our customers. And again, we're under the same CPUC. A lot of people say, how is this program free? And because it's from California, if you ever look at your phone bill, whether it's your cell phone bill or your house bill, you will see under those federal charges, it says California Relay. So it's pennies a month for the last 40 plus years that we've been in existence. And the situation is that if someone actually needs our service, they can just come into us, either our office or our website, or if they have one of our applications, their doctor signs it. And again, it could be their ophthalmologist, their audiologist, the hearing aid specialist at Costco. Anyone on the list can sign this and just check off what the difficulty is. We're never going to ask for any kind of Social Security. We're never going to ask for any insurance. And we're not going to ask for proof. If someone brings this in that's signed, that's all we need to try to provide them and match them with the best phone equipment necessary. So I think we can just go to the last slide just to make it easy. Anyone is always welcome to go up to our website and actually see the different types of equipment that we have. We provide the TTYs, similar to Hamilton, that if someone needing Hamilton services needs a TTY, we have that equipment. We also work closely with speech-to-speech. So again, for time, I didn't want to go over the same information. And then this is our contact information. So we have English and Spanish. We also have staff that speaks even other multiple languages. So we try to help as many people in their native language to make it as easy as possible. We do have actual service office hours, and they're Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So again, I thank you for allowing me to be here, and I'll probably just leave this in case anyone has any information. Oh, yes.
I think we have some questions.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioner Angel here. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you both for a very insightful presentation. I do have a two-pronged question. First of all, for someone presently having a cell phone, I did hear you address that. I'm still a little unclear how that actually integrates into your program. If they have a cell phone with a dedicated cell phone number, or what I heard you saying is that in itself can link in with this program and provide the additional access to the individual?
Yes. So we have Bluetooth phones that have Bluetooth built in. So similar to some of, I think cars as of 2012 or 2013 most new cars now have that automatic Bluetooth. So we have phone equipment and phone accessories that have that system built in. So if the phone has Bluetooth in it, which at this point even flip phones have Bluetooth, they will, what we call pair. We pair the cell phone to the home equipment. That home equipment stays home. People can live their lives and come and go as they please. And within a couple seconds of them entering their home, their cell phone and our equipment will magically, no, they will link up. And so if someone gets a phone call on their cell phone, they have the ability to answer a house phone with bigger numbers. They can adjust the volume if hearing's difficulty, which is something that current cell phones, they max out at certain volumes.
Okay, great. Just the follow-up to that, I heard you say that certainly anyone that is eligible can go to your website. I'm thinking of a disabled veteran I know, and he would no doubt qualify. I'm wondering if you might have any of these applications here for someone who might feel a little intimidated trying to navigate the website.
Absolutely. I brought some, and we can pass them out, and I can leave another stack. We welcome anybody. We try, again, oh, please. Yeah.
So that's a really good question, and we work with we have a program called Heroes with Hearing Loss. So this is an application for anyone that served in the military. We have their own application they can take to their VA, to any of their doctors, and so it's called Heroes with Hearing Loss. So if you do know any veterans, hearing is one of the #1 injuries that they come back with. We also have a blog where we have the veterans. It's only strictly for military that served. They could just go in there. It's their own community, and they could just talk freely. So this is one of the applications for Heroes with Hearing Loss and all that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We're good. So I just wanted to comment. One of the things we had talked about before the meeting began was these things, the masks, and how having the ability to do speech-to-speech and then captioning is such a big help when the person on the other end is wearing a mask. Yes. So that's kind of a new, a new use case for you guys.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
It has been. We've tested out the plastic masks.
Clear ones, yeah.
And they work for some customers, and I think at some point we just all relied on either if the speech was really detrimental, then we would be able to write and communicate with them in other ways. That's what we tried best, because the focus again is everyone's safety, and so hopefully soon, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. We have noticed that is one of the main concerns for individuals that have a hearing loss, to be able to hear behind the mask. Even though we do have masks that are anti-fog, it's still not doable.
Learning curve.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your presentation today. And thank you for coming out to see us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
There are none.
Moving on. Item 6, changes to the agenda. Are there any agenda changes?
There are none.
All right, that brings us to agenda item 7, approval of the minutes. We'd like to approve the January 18th, 2022 meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
This is Commissioner Hanwitt. I'll make a motion to approve the January 18, 2022 meeting minutes.
Okay, Commissioner Hanwitt motions to approve. Is there a second?
Commissioner Farley, I'll second the approval of minutes.
Thank you. Commissioner Farley seconds. May we do a roll call vote to approve the minutes?
Yes. Chair Ling,
Aye?
Vice Chair Angel,
Aye.
Commissioner Farley,
Aye.
Commissioner Hanwitt,
Aye.
Commissioner Kramer,
Aye.
Commissioner Koblenz,
Aye.
and Commissioner Rao.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item 8, action items. 8A is the Senior Citizen Commission Annual Work Plan Review. There we go. Work plan item 1, attend city-sponsored events serving as city ambassadors. Are there any updates since last month? Item 2, identify guest speakers for monthly meetings. Any updates since last month? We had a good speaker. We seem to be having, we've had a very good run of speakers, I think, public speakers this past year, so I want to keep that up. Item 3, direct marketing of safety-related messages to senior citizens. Any updates? Item 4, continued partnership with Encinitas Rotary Club and other Encinitas service organizations to recognize or promote Senior Citizen of the Year and the Lifetime Achievement Award. So, my understanding is the applications went out, and we are hopefully getting some nominations.
This is Manager Goodsell. We do have some nominations, but just want to remind you to do your part and spread the word as best you can and promote the program. The nomination forms are on the city website, so you can direct people to the website for the nomination forms. And then we also have hard copies available at the Encinitas Community and Senior Center. We will be taking some to the library, and then we also have some available here at City Hall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Work item 5, enhance senior programs, including computer assistance, feeling fit, baby boomer offerings such as the Boomers Club. Any updates?
This is Commissioner Angel. So once again, I have reached out to the county representative for the Feeling Fit program, and I actually have not heard back from him to date. So I imagine I will reach back out and try to find out what, usually I have had success getting a response. This is the first time I have not heard back. So I'll reach back out and inquire about the status of the memo of understanding that the city of Encinitas has sent out, and that's really what this whole program is now pending upon.
Okay, thank you.
This is Commissioner Hanwitt. I just wanted to give a little update that the Feeling Fit Club is happening at High Country Villas, that we have somebody that made the effort to get the CDs and or DVDs and is holding classes once a week.
Maybe you just need to be a little louder.
This is Commissioner Angel again. So what I'm looking to do is a little different. Anyone can get the CDs and initiate that on-site training. I'm looking to have a county-trained person, trained individual actually come in and facilitate the program. And that was my conversation that I started a year and a half ago with the gentleman who runs the program. So and then I know that the city did send out a memo of understanding, and I'm working to facilitate having this space at the senior center at no cost to seniors. So that is my ultimate goal, and I'm not giving up on that to date.
Good for you. Item 6, explore intergenerational programming in collaboration with the Youth Commission and other service organizations. All right, we have a presentation. So, as you know, before last summer, before the Youth Commission closed down for their school year, we got together with them a couple of times and kind of laid down the groundwork for an intergenerational activities survey. And the purpose of that was to identify, rather than just jump in and start making up programs, was to identify where the opportunities might be for intergenerational programs and activities in Encinitas. So we did this, our collaboration, and after a few iterations of the survey, we came up with something that we all agreed was acceptable, and the survey went live in October of last year. It was distributed by press release, by email, e-blasts, neighborhood forums, and flyers that went out. And there's a picture of the flyer right next to it. And eventually, we ended up with about 133 respondents. So these were some of the questions that we asked. Age group was one that we were interested in. The vast majority were adults in the age range of 50 on up. That accounted for about 75%. They were the 19 to 49 range, which I assume were mostly like parents and other adults. And then we had a very, very few number of people, bless them, 12 and under, and then 12 to 18. And then we asked the same respondents, were they interested in volunteering, and nicely, very nice, we have almost 75% of the respondents said, yes, we would like to volunteer. Well, since this is an intergenerational activity survey, we had to ask this question, which is, are you interested in participating? And again, a good majority, almost 80%, said yes, basically that they were interested. And then sort of a leading question was, do you engage in activities right now with people who are outside your age group? And most of them do, but you can kind of see there is a wedge in the pie of people who generally do not. And maybe there's an opportunity to kind of introduce them to that too. And then we asked, with whom are you currently engaged in these activities, whether it's family and friends, neighbors, at work, community services, or other. And predominantly, as you can see, it was family and friends and neighbors. And I think, again, there's an opportunity here to introduce or identify activities which serve the community. So this was, keep in mind, this survey went out in the fall. So one of the key questions was, do you feel comfortable doing activities in person, or do you want to keep them virtual? And vast majority said in person or both. So I think there's, again, an opportunity here. And then this was the tough question to assess. The question was, do you have some interests or ideas for intergenerational activities? Write it in here. And everyone had ideas, which was pretty fun. So you can see I tried to break it out into categories, but this is a lot more fun way to look at it. The takeaway, I think, from the answers to this question was that there is no easy way to categorize the kind of activities that people are interested in. We had sports, we had fitness, we had books, arts and crafts. The number one sport, as you can see on this word cloud, was pickleball. A lot of people wanted to do pickleball, but then we also had card games and board games, like a game night. We had folks who were very interested in reading and book clubs. And then we had sort of the shared experience and then the tutoring and mentoring. And it went both ways. It was not just the younger generation helping the older generation, or the older generation. It was also the older generation mentoring and tutoring reading or other homework subjects. My favorite one, I think, is up in the corner there, and someone suggested video gaming, teaching seniors how to do video games. And by the way, that suggestion came from a senior. And that rationale was, here's a way to connect with teens And by the way, you're learning skills, you're learning how to use technology that you wouldn't otherwise be exposed to, and you're exercising your brain in a way that you would not do otherwise if you're just reading or doing your normal activities. So I thought that was pretty creative. Okay. Do you belong to a recognized volunteer or community service-oriented organization that already supports intergenerational activities? And this is I think this list is a good starting point for us to kind of look at who are some of the organizations that we can approach in City of Encinitas to start drumming up some interest in them supporting some intergenerational activities with us. And we want to look at both youth organizations, service organizations, and organizations that serve as seniors, and see if we can pair some of them up and get them to drive intergenerational activities, or maybe they have programs in place already that we can talk about. All right. What do you think are the benefits of participating in intergenerational activities? Largely, it was all about learning and sharing experiences. And then right behind that was helping to build community and family, and then addressing mental health and emotional health. You know, there are a lot of lonely seniors during the pandemic, and I think this is an opportunity for us to help address that. And I like the bottom one, fun being with kids. So if you're a grandparent, you already know what that's like. And on the flip side, what are you worried about? What concerns, if any, do you have about participating in activities with people outside your age group? And not a surprise, number one on the list was exposure to COVID. And complementing that was, worrying about other health risks, just getting sick in general. But then there's, are these different age groups going to have the appropriate level of respect and caring for each other? I thought that was important. And then do we want to make sure that we're aware of physical limitations? If you have a senior who's got mobility issues or hearing issues, you need to be considerate about that. Okay, next, I think, is that it? Was that the last one? So I think this gives us a good launching point to figure out how we want to engage moving forward. And we see where we want to go with that. So this is one of those things when we talk about our next section, how we want to incorporate the results of the survey into a work action for next year, for this coming year. Okay, thank you. Item 7, moving on. Explore practices and policies of other jurisdictions in the county and at the state level to identify how senior health care, safety, referral services, et cetera, are being addressed. Any updates? Okay, item 8, research grant opportunities for Encinitas senior programs and submit proposals as needed. Any updates for this month?
Well, we did have an ad hoc committee meeting to determine which one more piece of exercise equipment that we could purchase with the money that we got from the grant from the county. And we also have to get an estimate for the shade sails. So we've made a little progress with that, and I think we're waiting for the estimate.
This is Manager Goodsell. We're still waiting on the estimate for the shade sails, but the ad hoc committee did determine that they would like to recommend the air walker. It fit within the budget and also the space limitations. So if you want to formally, from the ad hoc committee, suggest the recommendation, you can do so now.
So that would be a motion? Well, I would like to make a motion that we accept the purchase of an air walker for $1,899 to be placed in the outside area of the senior center.
Okay, Commissioner Hamlet makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Manager Goodsell here. With installation and delivery, the estimated cost of that piece of equipment is closer to $5,000.
Well, that's right.
and the total grant is is 20,000.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Commissioner Kramer.
Commissioner Kramer seconds. Should we vote?
Chair Ling,
Aye.
Vice Chair Angel,
Aye.
Commissioner Farley,
Aye.
Commissioner Hamwitt,
Aye.
Commissioner Kramer,
Aye.
Commissioner Koblenz,
Aye.
and Commissioner Rao.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. I think that was it for Agenda 8A. So moving on to Agenda Item 8B, Senior Citizen Commission FY 2022-2023 Annual Work Plan Ideas. So I don't know, the idea, the point of this section was basically to start putting out some ideas about what items should go into the work plan for this coming year. I know we have a lot of new commissioners, and you probably were not expecting to, you didn't get a whole lot of input on last year. So this is your opportunity to bring up some ideas about this. I think, do we need to be very formal about this, or is this?
It's mostly just a brainstorming session.
Okay.
So you can just go ahead and toss out some ideas at this point,
Okay,
and then it can be more formal at the next meeting.
okay, great. That makes it a lot easier for us. So I wanted to make, just to get us started, I wanted to make a couple of recommendations. And one was, there are certain items on this year's work plan that we should just keep. And the ones that are, I think, pretty apparent are items 1 and 2, and then items 8. So 1 and 2 is, let me go back to,
This is Commissioner Angel. Excuse me, I'm wondering if we might have the work plan pulled up so we can actually see it as we're talking about it.
that would be great.
Thank you.
So, item 1 is attending city-sponsored events, serving as city ambassadors, basically representing Senior Citizen Commission. And I think that one is sticky, so that one needs to stay. And also number 2, which is identifying speakers for the meetings. And then the last one is item 8, which is the grant, finding grants and applying for them for senior-related activities. So I think we don't need to think about those. Those are, if everyone agrees to that, we keep those in, and everything else becomes sort of up for grabs.
Well, this is Commissioner Hanwitt. The only thing that I was wondering about was whether, I know in number 1, it talks about webinars and attend senior-related webinars and online conferences. I just wonder whether we should have a separate one for the California Master Plan for Aging, because that is so large, and things are happening all the time. And I was thinking it might be kind of interesting just to have an ad hoc committee that gave an update each.
Well, there is actually, I see where you're going with this. There are actually a number of the commissioners who are participating in state level or state assembly level committees, I think, right? And I don't know that, we have another action item in the work plan that talks about looking at things at the county and state level. Maybe we need to formalize that a little bit better and be more specific, because that one was pretty general. But we can talk about the committees that some of the commissioners are serving on, and then we can talk about the state level activities for aging.
Okay.
This is
Commissioner
Commissioner.
Koblenz, I have a question. Thank you for indulging my lack of experience. Item number 8, do I understand that the budget is 20,000, the grant is 20,000, and we just approve spending 5? Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, but Commissioner Han was also really good at applying for more grants.
My pleasure.
So, but I think, yeah, so item 8 is there because there are going to be activities and projects that require funding. And so we are always looking for opportunities for that. Commissioner Rao?
Can we go to item number 3, please? So item number 3, Ellen resigned, but we had an ad hoc meeting about a week or 2 ago with Commissioner Levander and the new commissioner, and we had some ideas on that.
Okay.
So we were focused more on, well, I guess, did you want to speak to what we talked about?
I think our general consensus was gathering education in many forms and putting it in a form in which it was not only easily accessible, be it online or possibly another real easy access to the city website, and then maybe even something in the senior center that was just specifically to address those types of practices.
Commissioners, this is Manager Staten, really quick. Just curious about the ad hoc committee that was formed. Is this an official ad hoc committee that was formed within this commission, or did the commissioners take it upon themselves to form a committee?
I think we took it, I don't think we formed a committee. I think we got together and we're just brainstorming. It was my understanding that that's what we needed to do to bring
So this-
here today. Did we do
So
something?
my interpretation of that, it was an ad hoc committee meeting around agenda item, action item 3, and whether it should be morphed into something a little different.
So according to the work plan, there are 2 people on the ad hoc committee. Are those the 2 people that met?
Right now, there's only one person on that item because the other one left, and that person is me. And
Okay,
so-
then my understanding is that when additional members would like to join the ad hoc committee, that has to be approved by the entire commission so that all commissioners have the ability to raise their hand and say that they would like to be on the commission. So until that happens, we shouldn't be meeting outside of the commission meetings. So if this is an ad hoc committee that others would like to be on, now would be the time to express that so that we can add you officially, or other people can say, I volunteer to be on this ad hoc committee.
So I will suggest that we focus our energy on the new work plan and kind of channel that. We're really kind of on the last month or so of the current work plan. Is that correct?
This is Manager Goodsell. This is the last month of the current work plan. The new term starts next month.
Right. So rather than try to recreate ad hoc groups for the current work plan, let's move forward. But I think what you're discussing right now is relevant to what we want to do in the
So-
new work plan.
Commissioner Copeland, so then how do I formally make that request so that I stay within the guidelines?
As an individual commissioner, you're welcome to discuss your ideas for the next work plan during this meeting right now because it was agendized. So feel free to express your ideas.
And then I think as we form the new work plan, we can all decide which work items we want to participate in. So,
This is Commissioner Angel.
yes.
If we could go to item number 5. Just would like to share my thoughts on this. And regarding the programs, these are all programs that have been, people have been engaged with for the most part, as far as having opportunities to get computer assistance. And although the Feeling Fit Club program is not formalized, there is an MOU pending. It's out there. So in my opinion, it would seem to me that this particular item, I would like to see this stay on the work plan because it does also address the Boomers Club.
Yeah.
And so that would be my thoughts on
Yeah,
that.
and as I recall, the Boomers Club actually came directly out of the previous Senior Citizen Commission survey. So these are all things that have been in progress, and I think the pandemic sort of put a little roadblock in there. So if we all agree on that, we want to keep number 5 as is.
So do I need to make an official motion then to keep number 5, or is this just the
I think,
part
I
of the
think we're still informal right now.
Okay. Oh,
Can I add something?
Yeah.
On this, is it possible to add that we have some kind of marketing around whatever's created?
Oh, and promotion
in
of
this?
yeah. So,
Marketing and promotion of this?
yes, I think that's important. That's actually, so I wanted to mention a few of the things that are on my hot list for this next work plan. And outreach and promotion is a big thing. It's no fun having all these great programs and activities if nobody knows that they exist and nobody shows up. So at the top of my list is improved outreach, and in particular to vulnerable seniors and seniors in need regarding senior services and activities provided by the City of Encinitas and the Senior Center. I volunteer at the Senior Nutrition Lunch once a week, and I see a very happy group of people showing up for lunch, but that group is much smaller than I think it ought to be. So I think where we can make a difference is taking activities that we're creating and then finding ways to improve the outreach and promoting of these activities. The other thing on my list is, can we make more emphasis on identifying or creating? Because I think it would be a little bit presumptuous to think that we're inventing new activities. And there's probably activities and programs that are already out there, but we need to know what they are and how to connect our seniors to those activities. But creating programs that address mental health and loneliness. Right, that was especially obvious to me this past year, and it was very hard to figure out if there was something we could do about it. And having a new agenda item in the work plan to do that would be nice.
This is Commissioner Angel. I have a question requesting clarification on that. There is another number in the work plan that already mentions mental wellness. So I'm wondering what you're envisioning and what that would look like as adding it again and under another number.
Well, let's look at that. Can we look at that item?
It's number 7.
So this was, I guess the way that I look at this one, it was basically looking at other jurisdictions, looking at the county level, the city level, and I don't know, just kind of sort of a broad, more looking at how they do these activities, as opposed to looking specifically at programs that address mental health and loneliness.
Okay, well, this is my specific area of interest. I'm a social worker. I've worked in the mental health field for many years, so I'm happy to see that we can reframe how mental health is looked at and what we can do to market it, if you will, and to ensure that this catchment of seniors have the opportunity to be looked at. So I definitely would be interested in being on any work plan item that addresses mental wellness.
Yes. So if you look at the title on the left and then the description on the right, the description on the right is talking about something else we were just talking about earlier, which is master plan for aging, and then the other, the commission, the assembly member Tasha Borner-Harvard's Senior Affairs District Advisory Council. To me, that's a separate thing by itself. And then we have perhaps another work plan item to address mental health and loneliness for seniors in Encinitas. Go ahead.
It appears to me that the right and the left, we're talking about actual descriptions here. I think Council Angel is absolutely right. I think the descriptions need to be a little bit more specific. Or off to the right, best practices for aging, plans for aging to enhance senior health, safety, and well-being. So I think they need to be a little bit more in alignment with descriptions so that it looks like they're actually working together.
And I would like to suggest that they be more specific, right? Because if we have these very broad, fuzzy things, it's really, really hard to converge on something that's actually actionable.
I agree, and I would suggest that myself and Commissioner Hanwit and Commissioner Farley perhaps meet to brainstorm, work as a subcommittee to work on looking at what that might, how we might reword that to better address or better be succinct with what we want to present in this work plan.
And this is Manager Goodsell. I agree with that. I would say work within your already formed ad hoc committees to come up with some specific language for the goal that is succinct and that you can present at the next meeting.
Okay. Any other brainstorm ideas? Yes.
This is Commissioner Hanwood. I don't know how this would look exactly, but I think it would be interesting to have a way of having a relationship with the other commissions, such as the transportation.
You read my mind.
And
Yeah, I agree. I think the Mobility and Traffic Safety Commission, I think if you think about some of the locations of the senior living communities, there were a lot of traffic concerns, and we were lucky that we had the Tag Foundation and was it the E3 organization that created the funding for the crosswalks and this speedometer, the speed radar signs. So there's some opportunity I think, for collaboration, just as we collaborated with the Youth Commission for intergenerational activities. Is that a legitimate work action item?
Well, I think we have to be mindful, this is Manager Goodsell, mindful of staying within the recreation purview. I think to be educated, maybe the chair of one of those commissions could come and present at this commission, and then attending other commission meetings would be of value to learn and have an understanding of what's being discussed.
So beyond
that,
let
I also
Tracy-
think that we need to be mindful of what the other commissions are hoping to achieve in their work plan.
Yes.
So just because you would think there'd be a synergy doesn't necessarily mean that that is their priority.
Yep.
So it might be something great for you to learn about the other commissions and what they're doing, and then figure out how you can collaborate.
Exactly, and I think that's exactly right. And I think that's the initial dialogue, rather than just sort of imposing or asserting ourselves on their commissions, but having an opportunity to have some dialogue to see if there is an opportunity for collaboration. So what I'm looking at, though, is at some point, just as the youth and senior citizen commissions got together in an official capacity, is there an opportunity for an ad hoc, for example, or for someone in the senior citizen commission to present in that capacity? Because I know we've talked about before that we can go as a private citizen and speak for our 3 minutes at these other commission meetings, but that doesn't always carry the same kind of weight that might be if we're saying, hey, we're representing senior citizens of Encinitas, when we would like to emphasize some particular point that's relevant to the other commission. Is that legitimate? Is that doable?
I guess I'm just curious as to how you would like that communication to be delivered, received, et cetera.
So there's two ways. So I see two ways to do this, and I'm sorry, I've been thinking about this a lot. So one is to do a presentation similar to the ones that we had today, but present as a member of the Senior Citizen Commission, saying here's where seniors are concerned. The other is to meet in an ad hoc group with other members of other commissions. And, they have to agree with this also, right? They need to say, yeah, this is legitimate. We want to spend time talking to you about it. One example is, and I'm just throwing this out there because they may not want to talk to us, but for example, universal design for housing development, right? That's one example. Senior safety, certain traffic stops, that kind of thing. Are there some things that we can bring up on behalf of senior citizens, which I think is kind of our role, to these other commissions, letting them know, hey, the demographics say that we're going to be half the population by 2050 or whatever, and so we would like to make sure that anything you're planning now that's going to be here 20, 30 years from now is really age appropriate or age friendly for seniors.
So I believe that you can speak. Certainly you can request to speak with other commissions. That's not a problem, and present what this commission is looking to do. And then within their commission, they could see if they had an ad hoc committee that aligned with your goals. I think the number one thing would be to put together what your goals are. And then one of your action items under those goals could be to speak at the commission that you feel like might align with that, and see where it goes from there.
Okay. Is this, so let me throw something else out. If I don't think we know what that is yet, right? And things do not move very quickly here, so we know sometimes it takes an entire year's work plan to figure out what it is that you really want to do. So would it be legitimate to have as a work plan item here just the item of exploring opportunities to collaborate with other commissions?
It could be. The way that I'm thinking about it, it might be best to come up with your goal and then have working with said commission under that goal as an.
As a
Does
goal?
that make sense?
As an work item?
As an item that could support your goal that you have.
I'm just
The
not
other
sure
thing
that-
is that just like this commission has goals that you're going to roll over into next year because you feel like they still have room to explore and things you'd like to do within them, I would recommend or encourage you to look at what the work plans of the other commissions are and see if there's alignment within the goals or something that they're already looking at doing or have been doing currently that may be in alignment with what you'd like to do, because they meet in addition to just like you're rolling them over, they also may be rolling those over.
Are most of the other commissions on a similar schedule to us?
Yes, they are. In fact, we'll be attempting to present all of the work plans to the council on the same day.
Okay. So I think the challenge for us then is it's probably not going to be easy for us to come up with something in this very short period of time that's that specific for a particular commission.
But between now and your next meeting, you could take a look at the work plans of the other commissions and see if there's something in alignment for which you could also put on your work plan and hopefully have some synergy.
Okay. Anybody else have thoughts about that? Comments? Do we feel like we're on the right track here? Okay.
Commissioner Farley,
Yes.
I would like to continue the intergenerational programs because you did a lot of great research on it this past year. Now, for next year, I would like to start implementing the programs.
Okay, I'm all for that. And I think for that particular agenda item, we can have our own ad hoc meetings about that agenda item and figure out how to update it for this year. A lot of it was kind of based on the survey and what are we going to do, with the survey. And I think we can start identifying maybe specific organizations that we want to start working with to roll out these intergenerational programs.
Commissioner Farley, again, and as we were talking about working with other commissions. We were working with the Youth Commission also, and we can continue to work with them on implementing these programs. And when we look at our other goals, we can see what sort of things we want to implement, and then look at those other commissions that are working on similar programs and partner with them to implement these programs.
So I think the one commission that is on a slightly different schedule than we are is the Youth Commission, because they're kind of gated by their school year. Is that true? That was kind of the impression I got when we worked with them last year.
Can you repeat that question?
So Commissioner Farley and I were talking about, should we continue our relationship with Youth Commission in basically working out these intergenerational activities and programs? And the one thing about that is they're gone all summer, right? So they are actually on a slightly different schedule because they're bound by the school year.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
So unless we're going to be basically on the tail end of their work plan this year, and then we need to re-engage with them in September. I think
I would
right.
have to look at the timing on it. I know it is slightly different, but we are wrapping up their work plan and then looking at the new one on the same schedule you are. And I know that intergenerational programming is currently on their work plan.
Okay.
We have the Youth Commission coming up. I would be surprised if that was not rolled over to the next work plan, as I know it was a hot topic for them and that they did engage with that topic.
Okay.
And just as a reminder, the implementation is more of an operational portion that the staff work on. And then it would just be the recommendation from the senior commission as to programs that you feel should be implemented. And perhaps, I know we talked before that it wouldn't necessarily be staff that would implement it. It would be maybe a partnership formed between two other organizations outside of the city programs that perhaps might cater to intergenerational programming.
Although I have to tell you, senior dance came up even in this survey. So there's some things I think that people are still counting on seeing back at the community center once everything is sort of settled down.
And we do actually have a dance that's occurring this Friday. So 2:00. I hope people can join and make
Good
it.
to know.
We haven't had a dance in a while, so we're very excited about this one.
Yeah. So I'm thinking about things like having a venue for a game night, an intergenerational game night, or even a movie night or something. That would be kind of fun.
Can you remind me one more time the date of the intergenerational survey?
It was in October.
Thank you.
So most of the responses came between October and December.
Thank you.
Would we be able to start an intergenerational club and put that in the work plan for next year? And then incorporate some goals to achieve in that club? Like, I think it could achieve some of our goals in terms of mental health and wellness, because if you're creating a club for seniors and youth to try to address like more socialization and things like that, that could achieve some of our other goals on the work plan. Is that possible to start an intergenerational club?
This is Manager Goodsell. I would recommend a specific program versus a club because that's so very broad. I would like to see maybe the commission hone in on a specific program to start. But you can discuss that amongst the other commissioners and see how you want to, unveil that goal.
Yeah.
This is Manager Staten. I guess I just have some questions as far as like who would be in your club, how would you reach out to them, like establishing would it be an official club with a 501c3? Like, there's just a lot of questions when you start talking about forming a new organization. So that would be something that the commission would need to take into consideration about how to navigate that if you're starting an entirely new organization. And we can discuss that further once we have some more information so that I can ensure that we're staying within the guidelines of what the commission does as a working group.
Is there a Boomers Club currently? Is that, because it's on the work plan, I'm not sure if that's.
And it's not been created yet.
Oh, this hasn't been created. Okay.
Yeah,
There was a survey that was completed before we joined.
Correct. That's why I suggested possibly just starting with a program versus a club, because the Boomers Club was on this work plan, and there was never a formation of a club.
Yeah. So maybe we start off with a few pilot programs, see how successful they are, identify organizations that we can work with, and then channel that into something more.
And I would really recommend looking at the results of the survey to see what the seniors wanted and what the youth wanted and how they wanted to pair up together, what types of programs.
Yeah, and there was a lot of breadth in the suggested activities. So I don't think we're ever going to be at a loss to come up with something, but I think the challenge will be finding complementary organizations that will want to support that particular type of activity. Because we don't want to be the ones who drive a program and drive an activity, and when we go away, the activity goes away too. Okay, I know there's a lot, I've been monopolizing, so what other ideas do we have?
I have two different ideas that I'd like to share. One was, I know that the Community Resource Center has collaborated or partnered with the Senior Center before, and I don't see anything in our current work plan about that. And I believe that I would like to see forming a partnership with them and coming up with ideas of how that can be worked together.
I think we do, I just don't think that it's evident. Community Resource Center does partner a lot with Community Resource Center, with Senior Center and the city. So I think it's just a matter of information that's not been transmitted from them to the general consensus.
And this kind of goes back to my previous point about outreach and promotion. Right? A lot of these, so many of these programs are in place, and a lot of people just don't know about them. Yeah.
This is Manager Goodsell. We do have a strong relationship with the Community Resource Center. The City of Encinitas will refer to them and vice versa. So we definitely are aware of the programs that they offer and the support services. We did have an MOU with them for social services. However, the grant funding ended for that program. Doesn't mean the program itself ended, because those same services are still being offered. And we still are continuing to refer senior citizens to the CRC for the help that they need. And we definitely have a strong relationship with them.
So do you not feel a need for us to expand on that, or to promote it, or to?
Well, I think promotion is always a good thing, because, the citizens need to be aware of what programs are being offered in the community. So definitely, it's always good to think of other ways to promote. But there are several avenues that we currently use, and it's the website, it's social media, it's email blasts, it's the city website, so flyers. We're pretty much marketing in every area that we possibly can, but there's always more we can do to get the word out, for sure.
Would it be worthwhile to have? I think we've had someone from the CRC come out in the past.
Yeah.
Is it worth having someone come out again for our next meeting?
And what would be
to talk about some of the programs that are in place for senior citizens that the CRC is involved with.
We can definitely reach out to the CRC and invite a speaker.
Okay.
I think that also goes back to, we're talking about general information. I work very closely with CRC, so I have a lot of information and I know your wife's involved with that too. So I think it's, again, we're saying the same thing. It's just getting more information out to as many people as we can in the easiest way possible that they can hear it, not just respectfully go to the website, because I don't know about anybody else, but I get real tired of hearing just go to the website. So I'm going to be real honest about that. So I think, yeah, again, I think that relationship is probably one of the ones that are the strongest, and we just need a little bit more information. So.
The other item that I'm not sure if we form an ad hoc committee or if it's just something I do on my own, I am very interested in what the other senior centers are doing. I heard a lot about La Mesa and how wonderful that is. We have a great one ourselves. But I also, before COVID, I had a friend out in Rancho Bernardo, and they had a free gentle yoga class that was offered to seniors, and it was a lot of people were there doing that. And I'm just wondering, what other senior centers are doing that we might be able to bring here and improve on what we have.
So this is Manager Goodsell. I would highly recommend that you take individual visits to other senior centers and do some research and see what they are offering and what's available in different communities. We also have a very robust yoga program at the senior center, and Silver Age Yoga is a free one that's offered at the library here in Encinitas, and also at the Encinitas Senior Center. It's very popular. So a lot of seniors are definitely interested in that program, and we have several other fee-based ones as well.
And excuse my ignorance for not knowing the proper way to do things, but say that a few of us wanted to go to a senior center. Is that in violation of not being ad hoc? It's like,
as long as you're not discussing business and you're just going there to observe and ask questions of what they have to offer, that's okay. But you just don't want to be discussing business.
How can you not talk business when you're going there? I mean, it just doesn't, it seems to me you have to have it as a plan and then have a committee.
So you can, this is Manager Staten. So you can go as Jane citizen to any course you would like to in any community that you would like to. During the time that you're there or afterwards, you can't then huddle up and talk about how you could bring this to Encinitas or any details like that. You can say, wow, that was great, I liked it, me too, just like you would have with a normal friendship relationship. But once you start getting into brass tacks about details of how this can be implemented or things like that, those are things that need to be discussed within the commission.
Okay, so then my thing is, should we have a work plan item about other senior centers and things that we could bring in?
Yeah.
And then have it?
That would be acceptable. If it's on your work plan and you have an ad hoc committee formed, then you're more than welcome for 1, 2, or up to 3 commissioners on that ad hoc committee to go out to different locations and discuss program ideas and bring that information back to the full commission.
And this is Manager Staten. Just to clarify, that's absolutely possible to do, and definitely, a great idea to have that as a work plan item should the rest of your commission care to do that. Between now and when that work plan is adopted, that's when you can't meet and congregate separately outside of an ad hoc group because you haven't formed the ad hoc group and because it's not an official work plan item yet. So to make the recommendation to carry it forward on the next work plan, great idea. Yep. Between now and then, no official business. Once you're on the ad hoc committee, then that's when you can start discussing that with the members of the ad hoc committee. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I have one more question.
Sure.
Because I don't understand, the work plan. So how do you create a work plan without having to be able to talk to somebody about how to have that worded?
So you're creating the work plan here. That's what you're talking about now with this commission. You will then decide on those official work plan items in your next meeting, and then that will go to council to see what your work plan looks like, and it will be presented in the June meeting, I believe. And at that point, you can then at your next meeting begin to work towards those work plan goals.
So my suggestion is that if you have I think you've got the inklings of a very solid work plan item. And what I would suggest is on your own, no ad hoc group required, is you have a template here, which is last year's work plan. On your own, draft that work plan item together. And that's something we can then discuss as a group next time. And we can tweak it if we think there's changes that need to be made, or we can just move and approve it as, formally adopt it as a work plan item. So save all that energy for when the work plan is actually in place. But in the meantime, individually, if you have everyone, I think everyone has their little passion project in this group, and it's nice to see.
Thank you, Christy. That was very helpful. I learned a lot. To be clear, we bring our ideas to formulate a work plan next meeting, not ad hoc, just what I call information gathering. Then when is it actually, then the following month, we formulate it and then it's sent to the city? So in other words, I'm looking for a date.
So next month, you'll work on a draft work plan. And then that draft work plan will be brought back to the, let's see, we're in February now, so the next one is March, so that's when we'll formulate the draft work plan. And then April, that draft one will be presented to you, and you'll take a look at it, and hopefully you'll finalize it and make a motion to approve it in April. And then June is when it goes to City Council for their review and approval, and then it becomes official.
Thank you.
One more question, I'm sorry. So we're going to individually come up with ideas. Do we submit those to you to be put on here? Or how do we distribute it to everybody?
For example, like today, we put it on the agenda that you would be discussing the future work plan. And that's why you're able to do that now, because it's on the agenda. So this is the time and place to be discussing your ideas, and it will also be on the next agenda, and it'll be something that you'll be discussing as well.
But if someone has a work plan item pretty much fleshed out, written down, that's something that can be submitted and shared with the rest of the commission?
How?
Is that something?
Is that a question or a statement?
Well, I'm hoping it's a statement, but it's also.
Yeah, so as commissioners, if you have ideas about work plan items, this is the forum currently that you would discuss that in right now as you're doing. Next month, when you come, if you have your ideas more fleshed out or an additional item, you can present that to your commission. Collectively, as a commission, you will decide if that is a work plan item you would like to add to the draft that will then be presented to council. So you can bring any item that you would like to this meeting or to the next meeting to be discussed amongst the commissioners. Together, you will decide if that will be put on the work plan officially. Then you will decide what those items are, and then that is what will be taken to council. Does that make sense?
And then I just have one further question. So after it goes to council, at the next meeting, we form the ad hoc committees? Is that how that, or we do that before?
You'll do that ahead of time. So you'll do that next month. You'll start working on the goals, and you're also welcome to start forming the ad hoc committees. And then the following meeting is when you'll finalize it and make a motion to approve it with the ad hoc committees in place.
So we'll have a pretty warm and fuzzy idea of what the work plan will look like, hopefully at the end of next month's meeting. And we'll have made an effort to form the ad hoc groups for each of these items. And then between March and April, hopefully each of the ad hoc groups will firm up those work plan items, so it's ready for its final version. I think that'll work.
And if anyone has questions about the process, I'm here to educate you at any point in time. So I would encourage you to call me directly, and I can explain the process and how it works at any point in time.
So there is I guess it's sort of an unwritten rule that we don't want to have too many action items in our work plan. part of it is it becomes very unmanageable and unreasonable, and then your ad hoc groups get very thin. So it sounds like we've got a reasonable number of ideas right now. But the other thing, too, is as we look at the ones on our current list, are there any ones that we want to make go away, or the intent is to replace these work action items with another one?
So as I understand it, informally, we have agreed 1, 2, 5, and 8 will stay, and 8 will become a little bit more specific in description. Is that kind of what we've
I think
talked
it's
about?
7.
I think it was number 7 was going to be
Yeah.
more
'Cause
specific.
8 was the grants.
And
sorry,
what
and
about the
thank you.
one, the Senior Citizen of the Year, the working with the Rotary Club? Do we want to keep that?
Yeah.
I don't know what number that is.
I think that would be a very important one to keep because that's,
That's right up at the top there, too.
Maybe it's number 8, I think. Christie, number 8, the Rotary?
No,
I
it was
think-
No, no.
4. 4. I just saw Rotary.
Yep.
There it is, yeah, okay.
Yep, got to keep that one.
although since we no longer have 3 commissioners on that one, and that's a pretty active work plan goal, which I plan to stay on, if another commissioner is interested in joining that particular work plan item, that's certainly an option.
Is this a good time to add someone to this ad hoc group? This is an
I'm
active.
sorry, this is Manager Good. So I was just going to interject to go back to work plan goal number 4.
Yes.
And you can make the determination that you do this once every 3 years, once every 5 years. It doesn't have to be an annual work plan goal. So that is something that you can decide.
But we definitely are doing one now.
We are doing one now as
We're
part of the work
shorthanded.
plan.
We're shorthanded in the ad hoc group because Commissioner
Mm-hmm.
Lurchbacher resigned.
Correct.
So
So
Is
we
this
will
a-
fulfill this work plan item, but moving forward, you may determine that you want to wait a year or 2.
okay. But for this year's, wrapping up this one, is this a good opportunity to add someone to the ad hoc committee?
We definitely can.
Okay. Is there anyone who would like to step up?
Well, this is Commissioner Hanwood. I could join that. I mean, I don't know, guess I'm unclear about the amount of work that you need right away before it renews itself, or does it matter? If I'm on the ad hoc committees will remain the same if we keep the same work plan goal?
doesn't
That would
have
be
to.
my recommendation. However, formally at the next meeting, you can create new ad hoc committees or keep them the same. I would recommend those who are most interested in the item, and probably the ones who are currently on are the ones who would want to continue serving.
Yeah, and I think the reason why Commissioner Angel brings this up is because we are currently receiving nominations. And so there needs to be a body of people who are reviewing those nominations. Yes. Commissioner Rao.
Excuse me, Commissioner Rao. This is a little bit similar to the topic we were talking about earlier about adding people to task item 3. And you mentioned you wanted to wait on that.
Well, some of these things are kind of, are winding down because we're coming up to the end of our work plan year. But the exception to that is actually the Senior Citizen of the Year thing, because the nominations are just starting to come in now. So I think that's why Commissioner Angel is asking, do we want to have a full ad hoc committee for that?
And just to add, there's no pressure here because I've done this the last 2 years. I'm very well versed on what is involved in this, and although if someone wants to, I'm not sure I feel comfortable to have someone feel pressured. I think that I would be happy to just myself and Commissioner Kramer can, move forward with, right? Is it Commissioner Kramer, you and I? I mean, just because unless we are inundated with 50 or 60 nominations, which I don't think will happen, it would be nice, but I don't know that it's really a requirement to have a third person. So I just want to put that out there because I'm very confident that two of us could handle the requirement of reviewing and making their submission. Although I appreciate you suggesting you would be willing to help, Commissioner Hanwood, if in fact we're not going to do this every year, then I'm just wondering if we want to just allow myself and Commissioner Kramer to finish up this year, and then we can relook at how often we want to do this. Although I particularly like this program, so whether it's once a year or every 3 years, I plan to stay with this particular action item. But I'm comfortable and confident that this year we actually have enough commissioners.
And just so you know, whoever is chair for the next term gets to go to lunch at the Rotary Club to present the award.
That's great.
Any other comments? Any other ideas today? I think we did a good job today. You can tell this is not something we've done before on a regular basis, so it was good to have everyone chime in. All right, I think we are on to the next agenda item, informational items, item 9. Manager Goodsell.
All right, thank you, Chairling. So the Encinitas Community and Senior Center was closed from January 8th through February 13th due to the increasing surge in COVID-19. And the center staff did continue to provide nutrition services during that time with the curbside pickup and the home meal delivery. And with that being said, our numbers in January participation was lower, of course, because we were closed. We did provide 70 meals through the congregate program before we shut down, and 8 rides were given. 247 meals were provided curbside, and 47 meals were delivered to people's homes. And we had a total of 113 senior program participants in January in other programs at the center. So I wanted to let you know that Love Your Heart is coming up. It's a one-day event happening on Thursday, February 17th. And it's when the county and San Diego partners come together to help residents take charge of their own health. The Encinitas Community and Senior Center is one of those partners. So we are offering free blood pressure screenings by AMR, and that will be from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the staff is working on the spring recreation guide covering April, May, and June, along with summer camps. And it's anticipated that it will reach residents' homes on March 5th, and registration will begin on March 7th. First rounds of interviews were conducted yesterday for the Recreation Senior Services Supervisor position. And the primary responsibility of this position is managing the senior nutrition program and transportation services. So once this person is on board, I'll make sure to bring them to this meeting and they can introduce themselves to you. Applications are also currently being accepted for the Senior Services Coordinator position, which is an extended part-time position with benefits. And this position will assist the Senior Services Supervisor with the nutrition program, transportation, volunteers, and some social service programs. And the closing date is February 27th, and we'll schedule interviews after that. And that concludes my report, but I understand Tracy has a few items. Manager
This is Manager Staten. And I just wanted to give you an update about the other supervisor position that we have open. We have a recreation supervisor position open in addition to the senior specified one. The first round of those interviews will be February 22nd. The second round of those interviews will be March 1st. And this position will focus mostly on programming within the center as well as camps. In addition to the Senior Services Coordinator extended part-time position, we are currently recruiting for 2 other extended part-time positions, which include the Customer Service Coordinator and the Event and Rental Coordinator. Both will be based out of the Community and Senior Center to be able to increase our capacity to serve the public there and to help with recruitment and retention of staff. In addition, I want to give some congratulations to Christy Goodsell because she did submit to the California Park and Rec Society for an award for the patio project. And today we received notice that we received the 2021 California Park and Recreation Society for Excellence in Design, Facility Design for the patio project. Yeah, so that's a pretty big award. We'll be recognized, the city of Encinitas and that patio project will be recognized by the entire state Park and Recreation Society at the state conference up in Sacramento at the beginning of next month. We will receive a plaque and just recognition overall to all the other park and rec professionals. So a big spotlight will be shown on the city of Encinitas and the great facilities that we have and the amenities to serve the public. And that was thanks to Christy and her carving out some time to be able to shine that spotlight on the community.
Thank you.
I guess I have one more update. And that is that we also received an award for the 2021 California Park and Recreation for Excellence in Design Park Planning for Olympus Park. So we will also be recognized for that on a statewide basis at that same conference. So we're thrilled to be able to represent Encinitas and really share what an amazing community this is.
Thank you for that. That's a lot of good news. How are we doing on volunteers?
This is Manager Good, so volunteers in general?
Yeah.
So we have a few in senior nutrition. We still have one computer tutor who's a volunteer. We worked with volunteers at the holiday parade. So we still have volunteers, but obviously not as many as we had pre-COVID.
And some of that was because the center was closed, so we weren't really welcoming visitors that were interested in volunteering into a closed center. So we anticipate creating more volunteer opportunities and welcoming more people back now that the center is reopened and a lot of our programming is starting back up.
Great. So I'll be at Senior Nutrition on Thursday. All right, let's move on to item 10, Commissioner Member Initiated Agenda Items. I understand there are none. Item 11, future agenda items added by commissioner members. Are there any items we want to add for next time? We do want to still have the discussion on the work plan. I think that's in there. Anything else? Okay. It's the roundtable. This is what we were talking about at the beginning of this meeting. So item 12, commission reports, roundtable, all commissioners. Do you guys have any items which you wish to report?
Yes.
Commissioner Angel can start.
Yes, I would like to share that Maria Shriver is part of a collaborative effort with Sounds True Health and Healing, and there is a podcast available called Radically Reframing Aging. I listened to it this morning. It's an hour-long podcast. It was extremely insightful. She is really an innovative speaker. If you're not aware of who she is, she's previously a First Lady of California, as well as, she's got a very long resume. So I would highly recommend it. In the past, we would normally have put this out to all of us, but as we heard earlier, we're no longer going to be doing that unless it's an imminent, something that's only available for the next few days. But since this was from February 8th of this year, 2022. So again, it's called Radically Reframing Aging. And you can just Google Maria Shriver, Shriver, and that is it'll come up under her new emphasis on aging and wellness. That's all I have. Thank you.
This is Commissioner Hanwood, and I did attend 3 different webinars, and I'm never sure whether I should be talking about these during the work plan or the roundtable, because they all probably would have fit into the different places in the work plan, but I'm going to share them with you now anyway. January 20th was another Elder Justice Lunch and Learn, and those are so interesting, and they're only an hour, so, you know, you can actually sit there and eat your lunch, and the speakers are always good. And this particular one was about combating physical elder abuse and how do you determine whether or not there's actually physical abuse taking place or whether somebody just fell or knocked against a wall or something like that. And on January 21st, the California Master Plan for Aging had an anniversary event, and they had about 450 people attended, and it was kind of a review of the year. But the thing that I wanted to share is that they have an annual report for the past year, and so you can see how much money they were allocated and how they've determined they're going to spend it, and that was very interesting. And then just yesterday, I attended something that the Village Movement of California put on about advancing the science, the latest Alzheimer's and dementia research, which was also, I mean, a lot of it is stuff that we all know, but they did talk about factors and, as we know, the importance of sleep and good nutrition and exercise. One thing that they found, though, in their research is that the higher level of education you have, the less chances you have of developing Alzheimer's, probably because of continuing to learn new things and think about new things. But that was also very interesting because they're really trying very hard to come up with other ways of determining whether or not you're going to end up being affected by Alzheimer's through easy things like a blood test or saliva rather than a spinal tap. So those were 3.
I attended the same class online on Thursday, January 20th on combating physical elder abuse, which I agree was really well done. And then there's another one coming up for the Elder Justice Lunch on this Thursday, which is, I think, online scams. Sorry, Commissioner Rao.
Anyone else? This has been a marathon meeting for us, so thank you, everybody, for hanging in there. It is, I think we can officially wrap up. So I would like to formally adjourn our February 15th, 2022 Senior Citizen Commission meeting, and it is 3:39. Thank you, everybody.